Continuous building management supervision mandates the presence of a qualified individual on the premises whenever the building is occupied. This requirement emphasizes the need for immediate response and intervention in case of emergencies or system malfunctions. The core principle revolves around having a competent person readily available to monitor the building's critical systems and take swift action to address any issues that may arise. This individual should possess the knowledge and skills necessary to understand the building's operational parameters, identify potential problems, and implement appropriate solutions. Remote monitoring, while valuable as a supplementary tool, does not satisfy the continuous supervision requirement. The physical presence of a qualified person ensures that real-time assessments can be made and immediate corrective measures can be implemented, minimizing potential disruptions or hazards. The qualified individual's responsibilities typically encompass a range of tasks, including but not limited to monitoring building automation systems, responding to alarms, conducting regular inspections, coordinating with emergency services, and implementing safety protocols. These responsibilities highlight the importance of having someone on site who is intimately familiar with the building's infrastructure and operational procedures. The specific qualifications required for the on-site supervisor may vary depending on the nature and complexity of the building's systems. However, a general set of competencies would typically include a thorough understanding of electrical systems, mechanical systems, plumbing systems, fire safety systems, and building automation systems. In addition, the individual should possess excellent communication and interpersonal skills to effectively interact with building occupants, contractors, and emergency responders. Furthermore, the qualified individual should be trained in emergency response procedures, including evacuation protocols, first aid, and CPR. This training ensures that the individual can effectively manage emergency situations and provide assistance to building occupants as needed. The interpretation of continuous building management supervision may also be influenced by local building codes and regulations. It is essential to consult with local authorities and relevant industry standards to ensure compliance with all applicable requirements. Some jurisdictions may have specific guidelines regarding the qualifications of the on-site supervisor, the scope of their responsibilities, and the frequency of inspections. In certain cases, the continuous supervision requirement may be relaxed during periods of low occupancy or when the building is temporarily unoccupied. However, it is crucial to establish clear protocols and procedures to ensure that the building's systems are adequately monitored and maintained even during these periods. Remote monitoring systems can play a valuable role in supplementing the on-site supervision, providing an additional layer of protection and alerting the qualified individual to potential problems. However, remote monitoring should not be considered a substitute for the physical presence of a qualified person. The continuous building management supervision requirement is ultimately intended to ensure the safety and well-being of building occupants and to protect the building's infrastructure from damage or disruption. By having a qualified person on site at all times, potential problems can be identified and addressed promptly, minimizing the risk of accidents, injuries, or system failures. The interpretation of qualified person is crucial. It's not just about physical presence, but also about the individual's capability to understand and react to building systems. This requires a deep understanding of various elements. Firstly, there are electrical systems. This involves understanding the building's power distribution, including transformers, switchboards, panel boards, and branch circuits. A qualified person should be able to interpret single-line diagrams, understand overcurrent protection principles, and troubleshoot electrical faults. Knowledge of the National Electrical Code, specifically articles related to wiring methods, grounding, and overcurrent protection, is essential. Secondly, there are mechanical systems. This includes heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, or HVAC systems. A qualified person should understand the operation of chillers, boilers, air handling units, and associated control systems. They should be able to monitor temperature, pressure, and flow rates, and identify potential problems such as refrigerant leaks, pump failures, or ductwork obstructions. Thirdly, plumbing systems need to be accounted for. This involves understanding the building's water distribution, drainage, and waste disposal systems. A qualified person should be able to identify leaks, clogs, and other plumbing problems, and take appropriate corrective action. Knowledge of backflow prevention devices and water conservation techniques is also important. Fourthly, fire safety systems play a vital role. This includes fire alarm systems, sprinkler systems, and fire suppression systems. A qualified person should be able to interpret fire alarm panel indications, understand the operation of sprinkler heads and standpipe systems, and coordinate with the fire department in the event of a fire. Regular testing and maintenance of fire safety systems are essential to ensure their proper functioning. Fifthly, building automation systems need monitoring. These systems integrate various building functions, such as HVAC, lighting, and security, into a centralized control platform. A qualified person should be able to navigate the building automation system interface, monitor system performance, and adjust settings as needed. Understanding of control algorithms and communication protocols is also beneficial. In addition to these technical skills, a qualified person should also possess strong communication and interpersonal skills. They should be able to effectively communicate with building occupants, contractors, and emergency responders. They should also be able to work independently and as part of a team. The level of qualifications required will vary depending on the complexity of the building systems. For example, a high-rise office building with sophisticated HVAC and fire safety systems will require a more highly qualified person than a small retail store with basic electrical and plumbing systems. It is important to conduct a thorough assessment of the building's systems and identify the specific skills and knowledge required for the on-site supervisor. Training programs and certifications are available to help individuals develop the necessary skills and knowledge. These programs can cover a wide range of topics, from basic electrical safety to advanced building automation system programming. It is also important to provide ongoing training to ensure that the on-site supervisor stays up to date in the latest technologies and best practices. In conclusion, continuous building management supervision is a critical requirement for ensuring the safety and well-being of building occupants and protecting the building's infrastructure. It mandates the physical presence of a qualified individual on the premises whenever the building is occupied. The qualified individual should possess the knowledge, skills, and training necessary to monitor the building systems, respond to emergencies, and take appropriate corrective action. Remote monitoring can supplement the on-site supervision, but it should not be considered a substitute for the physical presence of a qualified person. Compliance with local building codes and regulations is essential. This may include understanding emergency power systems per Article 700. It may also include understanding generator operation and maintenance and transfer switch functionality. The qualified person should know how to manually start a generator, transfer building loads to the generator, and monitor generator performance. Also of importance is understanding uninterruptible power supplies UPS that provide backup power to critical equipment such as computer systems and life safety systems. The qualified person should be able to monitor UPS status, perform battery testing, and replace batteries as needed. Also, they should be able to interpret and understand electrical drawings. These drawings show the layout of electrical systems, including wiring diagrams, panel schedules, and equipment locations. The qualified person should be able to use these drawings to troubleshoot electrical problems and locate components. Furthermore, knowledge of the NEC, the National Electrical Code, is necessary. This code provides requirements for the safe installation of electrical systems. The qualified person should be familiar with the NEC and be able to apply its requirements to the building's electrical systems. For example, understanding grounding and bonding requirements per NEC Article 250 is essential for preventing electrical shock hazards. The qualified person should be able to inspect grounding and bonding systems to ensure they are properly installed and maintained. NEC Table 310.15b16 provides ampacity ratings for conductors based on their size and insulation type. The qualified person should be able to use this table to determine the correct conductor size for different circuits. NEC Article 430 covers motors and motor control circuits. The qualified person should be familiar with these requirements and be able to troubleshoot motor problems. NEC Article 440 covers air conditioning and refrigeration equipment. The qualified person should be familiar with these requirements and be able to troubleshoot air conditioning and refrigeration problems. Knowledge of local codes and ordinances is important. In addition to the NEC, local codes and ordinances may also impose requirements on building electrical systems. The qualified person should be familiar with these local requirements and be able to comply with them. The qualified person must be able to identify potential hazards. This includes electrical hazards such as shock and arc flash, mechanical hazards such as moving machinery, and chemical hazards such as flammable liquids. They should be able to identify these hazards and take steps to mitigate them. They should also understand and implement lockout/tagout procedures. These procedures are used to de-energize equipment before performing maintenance or repairs. The qualified person should be trained in lockout/tagout procedures and be able to apply them correctly. Furthermore, they should be knowledgeable of confined space entry procedures. Confined spaces can present serious hazards such as oxygen deficiency and toxic gases. The qualified person should be trained in confined space entry procedures and be able to ensure that entry is performed safely. Continuous training and education is also crucial. Electrical technology is constantly evolving. The qualified person should participate in ongoing training and education to stay up to date on the latest technologies and best practices. This training can include courses on new equipment, changes to the NEC, and safety procedures. In addition to technical knowledge, the qualified person should also possess strong communication and interpersonal skills. They should be able to communicate effectively with building occupants, contractors, and emergency responders. They should also be able to work independently and as part of a team. The qualified person may need to manage contractors performing work on the building systems. This includes reviewing contractor qualifications, overseeing work, and ensuring that work is performed safely and in accordance with applicable codes and standards. They may need to perform routine maintenance on building systems such as changing filters, lubricating equipment, and inspecting components. They may also need to troubleshoot problems and make repairs. Also, they may need to monitor energy consumption and identify opportunities for energy savings. This can involve analyzing energy bills, performing energy audits, and implementing energy-efficient measures. Documentation and record keeping is also a critical responsibility of the qualified person. This includes maintaining records of inspections, maintenance, repairs, and training. These records can be used to track the performance of building systems, identify trends, and ensure compliance with regulatory requirements. Continuous building management supervision is not just about having someone present. It is about having a competent and knowledgeable individual who can ensure the safe and efficient operation of the building. This requires a combination of technical skills, communication skills, and a commitment to ongoing training and education.